Hey guys, SPARTAN117GW, and today we're going to be talking about Ghost Recon Wildlands. Now, the beta just ended. I had a really good chance to play this both solo and co-op with a few buddies of mine. And at first, I played this at E3 and I was kind of skeptical about the game. One, because when you're playing at E3, you're just playing with random people that you really don't get along with, and it's really, really guided and they're basically holding your hand through the demo. But this was a really good chance to really kind of set yourself free, play the beta essentially, and really sink your teeth into the depth and all the cool little features that this game offers. Now, Ghost Recon is a franchise, if you're unfamiliar, which is basically the military arm of the Tom Clancy series. I've been playing the original, for the longest time. I played Advanced Warfighter, Future Soldier, Ghost Recon 2, you name it, I've played it on various platforms. Now, this is cool because in a way, they've kind of gone to the extreme, because people were saying, Ghost Recon's become too linear. It's trying too much to be like Call of Duty. So they really went back to the drawing board and took a few other things that worked really well within Ubisoft's library, namely, Far Cry. They took, those open world elements. I guess you could say they kind of borrowed from GTA a little bit, but mostly from Far Cry. So essentially, what you have is Ghost Recon Far Cry. I guess it's one of the best ways to put it, but definitely has some really cool Ghost Recon elements. So you have your ghosts, you and three other guys, and you have this huge open world that spans these big open areas, lots of vehicles, lots of NPCs running around, and it really gives you free reign to how you want to tackle the mission. When you want to go direct action, all in, balls in, just guns blazing, or if you want to take the nice stealthy approach, sync targets, sync your shots and everything like that. So it kind of borrows features from the previous Ghost Recons, right? Because you have the UAV, you can spot targets, kind of like the old Crosscom. You can control your AI to a pretty decent extent. You can even call for support from Rebel forces. There's a lot of things you can do, and it definitely borrows heavily from Far Cry. But what's really, really cool, I think my favorite feature of this game is the customization. Now, Future Soldier's customization was fantastic, but the loadout customization is amazing. I'm really hoping they have a little bit more, at least with the plate carriers in the full version, but for the beta, what they offered was pretty exceptional. They really only gave us a tiny tad bit of the weapons to play with, but the gear and the face and the body customizations was pretty fantastic, especially coming from Ghost Recon. It's kind of like it took elements that you'd probably see like in the older Rainbow Sixes, and it's really kind of all-encompassing in terms of all of Ubisoft's favorite things that are all basically in one game now. But it's really great because it's set within the Ghost Recon world. One thing I really love is the banter between the characters. Like, at first I was like, I was like, how is Ubisoft gonna do this? Is it really gonna be Hollywooded up? But some of the jokes that the guys talk to each other, I've heard. And I was like, they're spot-on jokes. They're real military jokes. And so I do like that small attention to detail. I know 511 sponsored this game, so there's a lot of 511 gear in here. I like 511 stuff, but I still kind of prefer my guys to look more like your standard soft guys. So whenever you see my characters in game, they kind of have more of a traditional special operations look. Maybe not as much the clandestine look that the game is really pitching, but I just kind of like that more direct action look, and that's why my guys are all wearing, ballistic helmets and full body armor, and they got the the day pack and stuff like that, and the full Cry combat uniforms. But this game's a lot of fun. The third-person combat is great. The first-person combat is great. It's not like the best third-person shooter, and it's not the best first-person shooter, but it does both reasonably well. You can change shoulders. They basically combine like the cover system from the original, or not from the original, but from GRA, but it's more contextual, so you don't have to click to get up on the cover. You just run up to the cover and you're on it. So they've really made the game, or Ghost Recon, much more intuitive. it's pretty easy to pick up and play. I'm not going to say it's like the most hardcore game ever. You definitely want to ramp up the difficulty if you want a more traditional Ghost Recon experience. I feel like one thing too is that when the enemies see you, they kind of get highlighted, and it kind of, not to say ruins the fun of finding them, but like when you're getting engaged, it like the enemies just pop up and the big UI just like, this is where the enemy's at. It's not like the old Ghost Recon where you would just get the threat indicator and you would have to figure out where the hell the guy's shooting at you from. It was pretty like, lethal back then. So, I definitely feel like the new Ghost Recon's a little bit more forgiving, but it is a lot of fun. The vehicles are really, really cool. I mean, some of the mechanics in the vehicles could be a little better, but I think they definitely help for getting around. The fact that you can just take anyone's vehicle off the street, definitely very much like Far Cry or GTA for that matter. But the weapons and the gear is really cool. There's bullet drops, so you have velocity in the account, and the weapons customization with suppressors and optics. One thing that's kind of interesting is you can kind of change what type of reticle you have in terms of your holo sight. Not every holo sight can really do that, so it's kind of an interesting design choice. But it's really, really cool. It's a lot of fun. This game is, to be honest, in its best, is made to be played co-op. If you play this solo, you'll still have some fun if you just want to mess around, but if you kind of want that really true like coordinated experience, the AI is kind of stupid, and they kind of don't react to each other right away. So if you want that real experience, I definitely suggest you pick up a few buddies and play this. I'm definitely super excited for when this comes out. I'm actually more excited to play this game than I initially was going into the beta, because I was just kind of worried just from what I saw at E3. The graphics are pretty dang good. I mean, they're not like Battlefield 1 level because, they're rendering a huge open world, but for the amount of the environment they give you, I feel like the graphics do hit a pretty good sweet spot. I mean, they could always be a little bit better, but I think they've done very well for themselves. So, from a gameplay standpoint, it's really, really fun, really solid. From a graphical and sound standpoint, it's pretty serviceable. It's pretty good. It's not like Battlefield 1, but it's definitely meets the standard. And for authenticity level, I was actually surprised. I was pleasantly surprised about the small little cues and little audio dialogue and just all the detail on the weapons and the camo. Oh my god, there's so much camo. Like, the customization of this game is fantastic. So definitely check out the full version of this game when it comes out. I really, really can't wait to play this game now. I'm much more excited than I initially was. I was more skeptical. So make sure to check out Ghost Recon Wildlands when it releases. It's going to be fantastic, and I'll see you guys in the battle.